Storage Wars became one of those shows that instantly pulled people in with its mix of excitement, suspense, and larger-than-life personalities. The thrill of opening up a storage locker, never knowing if it might contain hidden treasures or turn out to be a complete bust, gave the series an unpredictable edge that kept fans hooked for years. But beyond the fast-paced auctions, heated bidding wars, and catchphrases that became famous in living rooms everywhere, there were real people behind the screen. Many of them carried their own personal struggles, faced tragedies, and lived through moments that left fans stunned when the truth came out. The show may have brought them fame, but fame never shielded them from the hardships of life. Over time, several members of the Storage Wars family experienced heartbreaking situations, from health crises to sudden deaths, reminding everyone that even familiar television faces live fragile lives just like anyone else. When the name Dave Hester comes up, almost any Storage Wars fan immediately hears the echo of his loud and drawn-out "you" in their head. He was one of the very first stars of the series and quickly cemented himself as the face of the show. His confidence, energy, and unshakable presence during auctions made him impossible to ignore. Dave was not someone who blended into the background. He thrived in the spotlight, with his aggressive bidding style and fearless approach to competition making him one of the most dominant personalities on the show. People either loved him or hated him, but no one could deny that he made Storage Wars more entertaining. However, life for Dave was far more complicated than what fans saw on screen. In 2012, fans were stunned when Dave accused the very show that had made him famous of being staged. According to him, producers had planted valuable items inside lockers to make episodes more thrilling, a claim that sent shockwaves through the Storage Wars community. The network strongly denied the accusations, and what followed was a messy legal battle that dragged Dave into a storm of controversy. As a result, he was temporarily removed from the show. Many fans wondered if his career on Storage Wars had ended for good. Eventually, he did return, but life took an even darker turn. Dave suffered a sudden hemorrhagic stroke, caused by high blood pressure and untreated sleep apnea. The stroke was severe, leaving him unable to speak or move. His family, friends, and fans were thrown into shock, as the energetic man who once dominated auctions was now fighting for his very survival. His recovery was long and grueling, requiring him to relearn how to move and speak again. Many believed he might never fully recover, but Dave's determination carried him through. Even though his controversies had made him a divisive figure, fans rallied behind him during this time, proving that despite differences, people recognized the fragility of human life. His story became a reminder that fame cannot shield anyone from life's unpredictability. Mark Bolello, another memorable face from the show, was completely different from Dave in terms of style and personality. Known as Rico Suave by fans and fellow cast members, Mark had a flashy presence that lit up auctions. He didn't just attend to bid, he came to make a statement. His confident demeanor, sharp fashion sense, and theatrical energy made him stand out instantly. Viewers loved watching him because every time Mark entered a scene, you knew something lively was about to happen. But behind the charisma, Mark was carrying deep struggles. In 2016, his life began unraveling publicly when he was arrested for drug possession. Reports revealed that he had long been struggling with personal demons, including mental health issues that fans had no idea about. His legal troubles only hinted at the larger battles he was facing privately. 2 years later, tragedy struck. In 2018, Mark was found dead in his car, the result of carbon monoxide poisoning. He was just 40 years old. The news broke hearts everywhere because it was hard to imagine such a vibrant and energetic figure gone so suddenly. His death sparked discussions about the pressures of television fame, personal struggles, and how often the public only sees a small part of someone's story. Yet Mark's life wasn't defined solely by tragedy. Born in Portugal and raised partly in Brazil before moving to the US, he built a reputation as a skilled entrepreneur. He opened businesses, ran a successful auction house, and even played a key role in recovering actor Nicolas Cage's stolen rare comic book. His knowledge of collectibles was unmatched, and his passion for the auction world was undeniable. His death was devastating not only for fans of Storage Wars but also for the larger community of collectors who respected his skills and energy. While Mark's story shocked many, Günter Neshoder's death hit fans in a different way because he had always been seen as one of the kindest and most genuine personalities on the show. Appearing alongside his son René in Season 4, Günter brought warmth, humor, and calmness to a world often filled with tension and ego battles. He never needed to be the loudest in the room, yet he managed to leave one of the strongest impressions. His bond with his son made fans smile, showing that Storage Wars wasn't only about competition, but could also highlight family, teamwork, and support. However, Günter's health had been deteriorating for years due to long-term smoking, which eventually led to lung cancer. Fans didn't see the struggle on television because he kept much of his pain private, but behind the cameras, it was clear that he was fighting for his life. His condition worsened when the cancer caused dangerous holes in his lungs, requiring emergency surgery. Despite treatment, his health continued to decline. In 2023, Günter passed away at the age of 67, leaving a void in the Storage Wars family. His death hit fans hard because he had been such a source of positivity and good humor on the show. Messages poured in from viewers remembering his wit, kindness, and the way he treated others with respect in an environment where competition often got ugly. Günter's story showed that being kind and genuine could leave just as lasting an impression as being bold and flashy. Mo Prigorf, who appeared in Storage Wars, Texas, brought a different kind of personality to the series. Unlike others who were mostly business-driven bidders, Mo was a man of many talents. He was a doctor, musician, teacher, and collector all rolled into one. His presence on the show wasn't just about winning auctions, it was about sharing knowledge and enthusiasm. His passion for history, culture, and valuable items gave the show a richer, more educational edge. Fans appreciated his unique approach and the depth he added to the auctions. Beyond television, Mo lived a full life as a husband, married to his wife Michaela for nearly 2 decades, and balancing his career with his creative and personal pursuits. But even for someone as accomplished as Mo, health struggles became a major challenge. For 6 years, he battled a serious illness quietly, choosing to continue working, collecting, and living life as normally as he could. He didn't want his illness to define him or overshadow the joy he found in his many passions. Sadly, in 2021, Mo passed away after his long fight with illness. His death was deeply felt by fans and colleagues, who admired not only his intelligence and charm but also his resilience. People remembered him as someone who truly lived life to the fullest, embracing every opportunity to learn, share, and create. What ties all these stories together is the realization that Storage Wars, while a reality show, was filled with real people whose lives were far more complex than what audiences saw on television. The auctions, the arguments, and the competition may have made for great entertainment, but behind the screen were individuals dealing with personal demons, health battles, and tragedies that no one could have predicted. Dave Hester's near-death experience showed how quickly life could change. Mark Belelo's sudden passing revealed the weight of personal struggles hidden behind a confident smile. Günter Neshoder's quiet battle with cancer reminded fans of the human cost of lifestyle choices and illness. Mo Prigorf's long illness demonstrated resilience and dedication even in the face of mortality. Each story left fans with a mix of sadness and respect, as they realized that the cast members were not just characters but real human beings living through highs and lows. The tragedies that struck the Storage Wars family shocked viewers because these were people many had watched for years, people who felt like familiar faces in their own homes. Their deaths and struggles were reminders of how unpredictable life can be and how important it is to appreciate people while they're still here. Even today, fans continue to talk about these cast members, remembering their humor, confidence, kindness, and energy. While their lives ended too soon or took difficult turns, their legacies remain alive in the memories of those who loved the show. In a way, Storage Wars became more than just a program about auctions. It became a window into the human experience, showing not only the excitement of discovery but also the reality of struggle, resilience, and loss. And that's why their stories continue to resonate long after the auctions have ended. Brandon Sheets became familiar to fans of Storage Wars when he appeared on the show alongside his father, Daryl Sheets. Daryl was one of the most recognizable buyers on the series, and Brandon often worked as his right-hand man. Together, they went to storage auctions, inspected lockers, sorted through items, and decided what could be resold for profit. Brandon was not as loud or as spotlight-driven as his father, but people admired the way he worked quietly and steadily. His presence showed that Storage Wars wasn't just about flashy personalities, it was also about teamwork, trust, and the family bonds that often fuel businesses like this. For many viewers, watching Brandon and Daryl together added a relatable family element to the show. In 2017, things suddenly changed for Brandon when he left the show. It wasn't his choice, budget cuts meant he was no longer part of the cast. Fans were disappointed because they had grown used to seeing him by his father's side. For Brandon, it was the end of his television career, but it wasn't the end of his professional journey. After Storage Wars, he started working as a UPS truck driver. At first, it seemed like a stable job, but it eventually turned into a life-changing challenge when he was involved in a terrible accident. While he was asleep in the trailer, the truck veered off course and crashed. The accident could have easily killed him, but he survived with only minor physical injuries. Still, the trauma of the crash had a deep impact on his mental health. He struggled with anxiety, stress, and emotional scars that were harder to heal than physical wounds. To make things worse, his employer reportedly did not give him the support he needed during recovery. At the same time, Brandon's family was facing more hardships. His father, Daryl, suffered a heart attack and had serious lung problems. Brandon found himself not only trying to recover from his own accident but also helping his father through health struggles. The weight of work, family responsibilities, and his own trauma made life very difficult. Yet, despite everything, Brandon tried to move forward. He focused on his family and worked to rebuild his life. Fans who remembered him from Storage Wars continued to show support, reminding him that even if he wasn't on television anymore, people cared about his well-being. His story shows that reality TV fame doesn't protect anyone from real struggles. Brandon's journey is one of resilience and strength, proving that family and determination can help someone move forward after life-changing challenges. Another unforgettable figure from Storage Wars is Dan Dotson. Fans know him as the fast-talking auctioneer who, along with his wife Laura, brought energy and professionalism to the show. Dan had been in the auction business long before television fame. With Laura, he founded American Auctioneers, a company that became well known in California for running auctions with speed, precision, and excitement. His ability to read a crowd and his unique style made him stand out, and when Storage Wars came along, he quickly became one of the stars. But behind the scenes, Dan faced a terrifying health scare. In 2014, he suffered not one, but 2 brain aneurysms at the same time. This was an extremely rare and life-threatening event. He experienced severe headaches, vision problems, and confusion, and his family rushed him to the hospital. Doctors worked quickly to save him, and many admitted that just surviving 1 aneurysm was difficult, surviving 2 at once was extraordinary. His recovery was long and tough, but he managed to pull through. The experience forced him to make major changes in his lifestyle, including quitting smoking. For Dan, it was a wake-up call that reminded him how fragile life can be. After his recovery, he returned to work with renewed energy and continued auctioneering, proving his resilience to both fans and colleagues. His story not only showed his personal strength but also inspired others to pay attention to their health before it was too late. But the Dotson family wasn't done facing challenges. In 2020, their son Garrett experienced a near-death event of his own. While visiting Arizona, Garrett was suddenly and violently attacked. He was shot. Despite his injuries and the pain he was in, Garrett managed to call 911 himself. That quick thinking saved his life. He was airlifted to a hospital in Las Vegas, where doctors performed emergency surgery. The bullet had damaged the vena cava, one of the body's largest veins that carries blood back to the heart. The situation was extremely dangerous, but the surgeons managed to repair it and stabilize him. Garrett's recovery was slow and difficult, but he survived against incredible odds. The attacker was later caught and arrested, bringing some justice to the traumatic incident. Fans were shocked when they heard the news, but they also rallied around the family with messages of love and support. For Dan and Laura, it was another reminder of how quickly life can change. For Garrett, it was proof of his own courage and strength. Another fan favorite on Storage Wars is Brandy Paranti. Brandy became one of the most well-known buyers on the show thanks to her sharp mind, strong confidence, and competitive spirit. Along with her partner Jared Schultz, she built a reputation as a clever and determined bidder. Together, they balanced business and family, raising children while running their auction business. Their chemistry and humor made them one of the show's most memorable duos, and they even landed a spin-off show called Brandy and Jared, Married to the Job. This gave fans a closer look at their lives, their relationship, and the challenges of mixing work with personal life. However, with fame came problems Brandy never expected. As her profile grew, she began receiving threatening letters from fans. These threats were frightening and made her feel unsafe. The situation became so serious that she eventually decided to move to a gated community for protection. While this gave her some peace of mind, the emotional toll was heavy. Living with constant fear affected her daily life and created stress that most fans never saw. To cope, Brandy sought therapy. Speaking to professionals helped her process the fear and regain her confidence. Therapy gave her tools to manage anxiety, set boundaries, and continue with her career without being consumed by fear. It became an essential part of her journey, allowing her to stay grounded while still living a public life. Brandy's story is a reminder that fame often comes with unseen challenges, and mental health is just as important as physical safety. One of the most unique personalities on Storage Wars is Barry Weiss. Unlike most of the other buyers, Barry wasn't primarily in it for profit. He was more of a collector at heart, and he treated auctions like treasure hunts. He loved finding unusual, quirky, or rare items, and he became famous for his eccentric style. Barry would show up in wild outfits, drive unusual cars, and sometimes even try odd techniques like psychic auctions, where he guessed the value of a locker without really inspecting it. Fans loved his humor and unpredictability, which made him one of the most beloved figures on the show. But in 2019, Barry's life took a dangerous turn when he was involved in a serious motorcycle accident in Los Angeles. The crash left him badly injured and required hospitalization. Fans were immediately worried when they heard the news, and the concern grew when rumors spread online that Barry had died. These rumors, however, were false. Barry survived, and although his injuries were severe, he eventually recovered enough to reassure fans that he was alive and healing. The accident served as a reminder that even larger-than-life personalities can face life-threatening events in an instant. Then there's Jared Schultz, who along with Brandy, had been one of the show's central figures. For years, their partnership both in business and in life made them relatable to viewers. But in 2021, their relationship came to an end. Brandy and Jared publicly announced their separation, which shocked many fans who had watched them together for so long. They even continued to film episodes of Storage Wars after the breakup, which created a tense and unusual situation on screen. The split highlighted how difficult it can be to balance private struggles with the public spotlight of reality TV. The story grew more complicated when news broke about a domestic violence incident involving Jared. Reports said that charges had been filed, and this immediately placed the couple back in the headlines. Around that time, Brandy posted a cryptic message on Instagram, assuring fans that she was safe. The incident sparked intense public debate about the pressures of fame, the toll of being on reality television, and the challenges of keeping personal lives private when they are so tied to a television audience. For fans, it was heartbreaking to see two familiar faces go through such turmoil, and it reminded everyone that reality stars deal with the same struggles, heartbreak, and mistakes as anyone else. The stories of Brandon Sheets, Dan and Garrett Dodson, Brandy Paranti, Barry Weiss, and Jared Schultz show that behind the laughter, competition, and entertainment of Storage Wars, there are real lives with real challenges. These cast members faced life-threatening accidents, health emergencies, family struggles, harassment, and personal heartbreak. Fame brought them recognition, but it also brought unexpected difficulties. What makes their stories powerful is not just the struggles they went through, but the resilience they showed in facing them. Each of them reminds us that behind the cameras, reality television stars are human beings trying to live their lives the best they can. Their journeys reveal that even after fame, life is unpredictable. Health problems, accidents, trauma, and broken relationships don't discriminate. Yet through it all, they also show us the power of family, the importance of mental and physical health, and the strength of human resilience. Fans continue to remember and support them not just for their appearances on screen, but for their courage and determination off-screen. These stories prove that reality television may give us drama, surprises, and entertainment, but the real drama often happens when the cameras stop rolling. The people behind Storage Wars are not just characters in a show, they are individuals who faced extraordinary challenges, survived, and continued moving forward, showing the world that resilience, courage, and family bonds matter more than fame.